Welcome back to SWU Farms, our survival challenge let's play series. It is March. We got through the tough winter. We have a ton of mushrooms to sell here. We're gonna get these sold. We're gonna get back, and there's a ton of lumber that we're gonna have to move as well. The entire winter we were producing planks, long planks, and wood beams, and today is the day to see how much money our first winter in production is going to bring in. Yeah, I wonder if we need to loop around to the other side of the farmer's market here. We'll see if we get an indicator to sell. It's always interesting to see how these maps are implemented. Should be just the default farmer's market, I believe. And it looks like we did go a little too far. Let's see if we can get them all in there. And I think if we just unstrap, well, we got half of them sold for 15,000. Let's loop around. And there better be a lot more on the back here. That's pretty disappointing financially there. I hope we have at least, I don't know, 30,000 here, 14,000. So I think that barely paid for itself. That's not the best investment so far, but let's head back home. We'll start getting the lumber loaded up, and we're quickly gonna realize that the equipment that we have is not good enough. So I'm hoping there's a decent amount of money in lumber, like a really good number of lumber, so we can get a lot of upgrades today. All right, you can see everything's where we left it this winter, which is now going to be a problem. But we loop back here and we can get set up. Yeah, this is the stuff we wanted to discover. Is our setup good enough? I really think this needs to be brought out to about right here and flattened and just kind of completely loop around for us to be able to effectively work on this sawmill. And then over here is close, so I think that'll be something we focus on next. But you can see we haven't really added any lumber in here all winter, and we still have 12,000. So we have a ton of long planks here, ton of them. No more to spawn, that's all we have. But planks wise, yeah, everything out here is what we have. There's some that are going to be, you know, finished soon that could be part of this load potentially, depending on how long it takes us to get everything unloaded or loaded up. But we also have 15,000 wood chips in here that eventually we're going to sell, but we don't have any way to transport that yet. So that'll be something that we definitely need to focus on today. But my goodness, this is a lot of money. Let's find the skid steer and get busy here. It's probably going to take most of the day. We do want to get this out of the way though. And that tree, it's pretty borderline to being in the way, but I think what we'll do is we'll get this put away, we'll get the skid steer, we'll try to move that tree into the sawmill so that we can get that cleared, and then we'll check over here before we head back and see how close we are to being able to sell that. That's going to be pretty important today, getting that area cleared up. And we also have the lumber over here we don't want to forget about. All right, that's a good spot for that. So let's find the skid steer, because I don't remember where I left that. All right, we'll leave the stump grinder there. We need to get the pallet forks and start getting these moved. I mean, we're gonna find out real quick if this equipment is gonna be good enough for us, depending on how long this ends up taking. Get that one. That's pretty good. Seems like we're handling it well. Let's take a look outside cab. Yeah, the weight seems to be pretty good here. It's just the height that we're gonna be able to stack these is gonna be somewhat of an issue. So we'll get that, we'll go about right here, lowered it on there, we'll back on out, raise that a little bit, and we'll just kind of give it a friendly, no, I didn't mean to grab it, just a friendly nudge is what we're trying to do. Like so. Let's go a little bit lower so the gravity is a little better. And that should do. What we're gonna want to do is strap these in so that when we put the next one on there, we don't, you know, interrupt it and bump it off the back, you know, as we do. But definitely able to see what we're doing in cab here. Get this next one. Probably could grab two at a time, though I don't know how wise that is. But we'll give this a shot here. Probably got to go a little higher and flatter. Let's see if this is gonna work. Just not gonna be the prettiest stacking job this way. There's one, and not too bad. Yeah, that's not bad. It's not that bad. Let's get that fixed. Oh man, it fell off. And left. And flip. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna get all these loaded up and then we'll rejoin you. Boy, the strap bug. That's pretty ridiculous. That's pretty ridiculous. You know, the comments kind of confirm that it is a bug, but I don't know if it was precision farming or something to do with the auto loading. Yeah, that's quite insane. So if anybody knows the workaround, what I'm gonna do from now on is when I strap things in, I'm going to unstrap them and then restrap them just to kind of like test it out, like do this. And then I think that'll take care of it, but we've dropped so many loads already that I've edited out. That's just insane. So I am gonna just use super strength to take care of the rest of these, just out of pure frustration with that issue. But we're gonna take all the planks long first, and then we'll come back for the wood beams and the regular planks later on. But let's see, while we're over here, 3,000 left, so this is close. I just don't want to lose any production that we're getting from it. And it looks like we do have one more planks long that we can take with us. All right, so let's unstrap everything, strap it back in, and let's find out where we're selling this. Planks long, the best price looks like the carpentry. Let's head that way with 12,000 wood planks long. All right, looks like this is the place to get our wood sold. Ah, we missed a little bit. Let's try to pull in a little bit better there. Got to hug this building pretty tight here. There we go. That's not bad. We should be able to get them all in one go. That was 68,000. Okay, so that's helping out. That's going to get us a little bit closer. Let's go do the wood. Well, let's do the planks next. I know the wood beams is going to be a big payday, so let's do the planks next. And also, I'm thinking money for my goals is going to be a little short. So let's take a look at oh man. So that's supply and transport contract. If we just had, I think it's this one. There's a bug in the UI. It would be a lot of corn. 186,000 liters of corn would get us $400,000. No real good contracts. Let's see if we can refresh them and get anything to come in. Nope. Okay, we're on our own in March. Yeah, it didn't matter. I did the trick. It's still... Oh man. Well, we did get another planks long while we were driving back and forth. So let's take these 11,000 wood beams that, you know, at one point were stacked pretty, but they're not anymore. And 1,000 planks long. See how high that gets our dollar amount. Then we'll come get the planks last. And the wood beams are going to the farmer's market because that looks like the only place in town that does accept those. And 103, that's good. That's good. Okay, that was more of what I was expecting from the planks long, but we will take that from the beams. Let's go get those planks. See how high we can push this dollar amount. There's a lot of equipment I'm wanting to buy, and it's not cheap. And we're on our way to the store with our 19,000 planks. Should be another good payday here. Got these stacked on pretty nicely. But we need, yeah, like I said, a lot of upgraded equipment coming this year. And we'll do that, but then we'll take a look at our plans momentarily. And one more time to the carpentry with the 19,000 planks. Another business that I wouldn't mind owning. Let's see where our dollar amount's gonna be. Another 82,000, so we're at 335. We can put 100,000 of that aside for the stone production that we want. So that gives us $235 to play with, and let's go ahead and park here and take a look at a few things before we head home. First, I did want to check the used equipment to see if there's anything worth grabbing. 51% off. This 7810. Whoa. I don't. Oh man. It's got the Icera Pro Compact on it as well. Oh, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. This is a good deal as well. But we're not ready for any of that. So let's start looking at our plans. Some of the things we're interested in. This Kenworth truck here is one thing that we're wanting to purchase. And I don't think there's any negotiating that I'm gonna want this. So we are gonna go ahead and buy it. So that will be 65,500. We're down to 170 is about our budget right now. So the other thing that's gonna be super important is to be able to load things from the stone production into that truck. And a wheel loader is really what I was eyeing. And I think we're gonna be, gosh, we're gonna be short because I wanted to go with one of these nicer ones, but we could start off with a Volvo one here. I just don't like these ones. They might do well though. Let's take a look at these and see the difference. This one's 45,000 for the LM845. This one can handle 8.6 tons, or it is 8.6 tons. This one is 9.5. I think I want the heavier one. Yeah. And this, I wonder if it'll fit on our trailer. So let's go ahead and buy that. But we're gonna go to combinations, and I want the biggest bucket, 4,000 here. Okay, that's the one we're gonna want. Make sure stones do show up on the icons. They do. Let's go ahead and get that purchased for 15 grand. And we do have enough left over. Let's head over and see if the wheel loader is gonna fit. I have a feeling it's gonna be too wide or too long. But we did pretty good there financially. I wanted to go with the fancier wheel loader, but we're not gonna be able to afford it. And it looks kind of small now. We'll do a little test here and make sure that it's gonna work. Let's make sure it's gonna work before we leave. That bucket doesn't really match. I just wanna make sure it can raise the bucket high enough to dump into this dump truck here. And is this actually compatible? It is, okay. So, we should be able to lift it. Oh yeah, look at that radius. That's not even as high. Is that as high as it goes? Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty perfectly, actually. We have to be about right there. Yeah, it looks like that's gonna do the trick. That's lovely. We'll be able to finish this entire project today, I believe. All right, we got the ramps lowered. Just don't know. This is gonna completely fit, and I think what I wanna do is back up on this so that we can put most of the weight closer to the truck. And just kind of wiggle our way up here. Oh, that fits good. Let's get the bucket lowered like that. Shut this off. Get strapped in here. And hopefully this doesn't go flying off of the trailer later on. Awesome. All right, so this will drive home. Oh, it did fight a little. It's fighting a little bit. I feel like we need to unstrap. And I guess it's gonna go right there. All right, let's hop in the new truck, and we're gonna get this configured on follow me so we can get it home. Oh, is it not gonna work? Let's try it the other way around. We'll go right here. We'll have a worker drive our truck home for us if we can. There we go. And that is not me in there, so that should work. All right, let's zoom out so we can see it happening. Get going in our new Kenworth truck here. That hopefully its capacity is pretty awesome so we can make a ton of money selling stones. Uh-oh. No way. We'll bring the truck home later. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Okay, one thing at a time. Man, we had to go slow. This thing is wobbly, not loaded very well to distribute the weight in the back of the trailer. But it's getting the job done. A semi would be nice with a longer trailer, which is, you know, definitely on the shopping list. I think a good spot would be probably next to this barn for me to just kind of pull through so we can unload this thing. That looks good there. All right, let's get these straps taken care of. Otherwise, we won't be able to drive off of here. That should be good. Let's hop on in. Gotta get this lifted a little bit before we lose her. And rear wheel drive here has us a little messed up. Let's see if we can pull this off. There we go. All right, we'll get this close to where it's gonna live. We don't have the actual equipment yet, or the production yet that's gonna really, this is really gonna be utilized by. And this could help with a lot of things around the farm. But you know, we'll want to pick up the stone right here, fill it up, come around, back up like this, get it lifted, just have to turn around and dump it in. And that's the plan. And then what we'll probably do is we'll hire somebody to deliver the stone for us so we don't have to do that drive all the time. All right, I think that's a good place to park that for now. So let's go ahead and see how we're looking room-wise. We got to keep in mind, even after we put this down, I want enough room to be able to drive in here and loop around and exit here, or vice versa. Would probably be better to drive in this way and then kind of exit out the property that way. So that sawmill is definitely in the way. We could sneak by right here for now, but we've got, you know, 3,100 to go through wood. So that's not too far off before we can get rid of that. But I have a feeling we're gonna have to raise some dirt back here to flatten this out, because we're gonna want to push this back a little bit of a ways. But let's get it ordered, let's get it installed, and let's see how it's looking. All right, let's see if we pushed it far enough back, and I think we did. Oh man, that looks nice in here too. All right, we'll do a little terraforming, make sure this is all gonna look good around the whole thing, and I'm kind of digging it. I think I might just do some softening at the most. Like, let's raise this a little bit and then soften it. I like how that foundation kind of looks natural, where the ground's not even back here, but the building is, so that should work good. So now let's turn this to ×5 so we can get a little bit more production going in here. And this is gonna take a little bit, and it's silent. Lovely. Nothing to turn on this production, right? I don't even think it shows up in here. No, it doesn't. It's just all the time loading in some stones. I don't know where they're getting the stones from, but let's take a little bit of a test run here. Almost worried this bucket's too wide. Oh no, it's pretty perfect. So we would lower this, and yeah, we're picking up stones, just not a ton of them. Yeah, and I think we dropped some, but yeah, that's the plan right there. And so what we'll have to do is, you know, 4,000 liters at a time to fill up the truck, and then we can have the truck automated with auto drive to sell the goods for us. Now, I don't think we can just like catch them, unfortunately. But yeah, so some time's needed for that to really get up to snuff. If we can get this thing to stop, let's find a good place for it. I think right next to here would be even better now that we have it, and we can get it decorated eventually as well. But $115,000 still. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Let's find a better place for the Kenworth for a little bit. I mean, it's meant to be if it fits right here. I mean, that is not bad. That's pretty good. So that production there is its own thing. That equipment is dedicated to it, is the plan. This might, you know, go back and forth with some other things, but that truck's definitely dedicated to here until we need it for otherwise. Yeah, nice. Nice production. Okay. Let's go ahead, and the sawmill has plenty of goods. I think there's one more upgrade I think I want to do. Yeah, let's look in the store. Now, I don't know if we will use the setup on here, but I believe you can have a backhoe on here, and it doesn't show in the customization. But I want to try this out, and this is one that I am going to try to find used, and we'll do just a normal search for it, and we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's make it April. See if there's some contracts we can take on, because we need to make more money. Need to clear land soon too, but I need to make a little bit of cash, and then we'll start clearing land for our first fields pretty soon. We're also saving up money for the cement factory as well. Interesting enough, we've jumped into a hoeing contract that is 92% done already. So this is gonna be a quick little dollar amount if we can figure out, I guess, where the 8% is that isn't finished on this field. So let's go ahead and head to it, and it's close to our property, so we'll get that way and see about this contract. It's only about 14,000, just a little bit of cash for us. And what do they have in here? Some cotton. Interesting. All right. Let's head over to field 24. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to figure out where that 8% is coming from, or if we just need to do like 8% of this to get it done, but I guess time will tell. Right there. All right, so here we go. We'll probably end up having to do this whole thing, is I'm imagining, to find the 8% that it thinks is done, or it's completely bugged, but we'll find out. All right, they got us going this way. We did get 1% of the contract done, so we're at 93% now. So we will see. I think it'll be fine. I think we're gonna have to do just most of the contract, which is, you know, what we're supposed to do anyways. I don't know why the percentage is messed up like that. I'm sure other people have ran into this as well. Interesting times. Looking forward to the new update coming soon. Hopefully it fixes all of these things. Well, the broker did find our equipment. Let's take a look at that. It's 42% off this time. That's pretty lovely. We'll go ahead and buy that, and I hope all the equipment that we have is compatible with this thing, all the attachments. And this has a little bit more weight for us, and I believe the back here can be set down as a weight, but I don't know if I know how to do that. Like a, what's it called? Not a weight, but, oh no, why is that word escaping me? We can anchor ourselves into the ground, it looks like, with those on the back. I'm not 100% sure. But this is a nice little skid steer. Easy control, it says. So we will see when it comes time to use it, but we're just gonna leave it at the store for now. And we're at 97%. We just have what's to our right to do. So I think we're gonna be okay with the percentage here. Either way, I think it'll be really refreshing to do this whole contract and make some money off of it. I mean, it's done with a lot left. That's just the most bizarre thing I've seen. Pretty bizarre. Let's go ahead and collect our $14,000 and let's get in. Let's do this next. Yes, we got plenty here. Let's get this in a good spot. I think that original spot that we're thinking might not be the best. So I think what I want to do is kind of lean right about here, and then we could still leave that way. So let's shut this off for now and get in the front loader, or the wheel loader. How are we doing over here? Let's check capacity. Let's see if we need to add any more lumber, but gosh, look at all that production already overnight. 14,000, so we could do with moving those trees over soon. So we'll have to do that today before we're done. I just want to know, how are we tracking financially right now? Looks like $136,000 worth of goods. This is a way to make money in this game for sure. All right, I don't know how many loads this is gonna take or how long, but we're gonna give it a good go here. And I kind of want to keep doing it this way instead of the way I did with the Riverbend Springs series, where we did, oh no. Oh no, okay, that's not gonna work. Yep. Oh boy, the more you know. All right, what we're gonna do, we're gonna hop out. We're gonna do our sales location right here and see if the rear weights do work. We're gonna sell it right away if it doesn't, but we will grab one of these bigger ones here. Let's go ahead and buy that for $4,500 or about after the delivery fee. And let's see, I don't think they're gonna attach though. Does it go that way? I think it would go the other way around, right? Like that. I mean, it looks like it would go in there perfect. Nothing's popping up. So let's go in here. We'll take a little bit of a hit for that and get this sold. And gosh, I guess we're gonna just take a hit for all of this and that bucket as well, because we're probably gonna go a totally different route here. $154,000. Let's take a look here at some front or telehandlers for $119,000. I want this JCB instead. And combinations, we're just gonna have to do it this way until we can afford a really big wheel loader. And we did get those delivered, so we took a little bit of a hit there financially, but yeah, that ate into all of our income by having to spend more money on this. But I like this piece of machinery though. Moves around well, and I imagine this is gonna work just fine with a full bucket here. Let's go ahead and sneak up and just fill it up and try it out. All right, let's tip it. Back up. Yeah, the truck's not quite at a perfect spot. Back up here, man, little bumpy. But I think it's because of those. Oh, did I do something with terraform? I think I did. So we'll fix that and make sure that's disabled. And then we want to just tip it. Nice. All right, now let's take a look at capacity in here. That was 8%. Okay, let's get busy. It's not activated. I don't know what happened there. Let's go ahead and clear this stuff with just smoothing. Yeah, it did take some ground out there, which it shouldn't have because it wasn't enabled, but all right, let me get this loaded up. And this thing bounces around a lot, so we will be looking for an upgrade long term. You can see we're getting there, probably about a third of the way, maybe a little more, close to halfway full. And I'm not sure if we're gonna have enough in here to do the full load, but we're gonna give it a shot. And we are gonna just be selling stones probably daily or every month until we can afford to buy the concrete factory, and then we'll just be filling up the concrete factory as needed at that point. But I do want to make sure we're not missing and dropping it on the other side. We're not. Let's see how we're doing capacity wise. 53%, not bad. So we're, halfway there for our load for the day. Just a little busy work here. Was tempted to do a time lapse of this, but it is so jerky that speeding this up is going to look very, gonna get you very seasick or seasick motion sickness. I think we have one more load to go here. Interested to see how the Kenworth's gonna handle this with it fully loaded with stones. How slow of a drive it's gonna be, and it's definitely something we weren't gonna do today. I'll do it in between episodes. I'm gonna get auto drive all set up so that once it's full, it can just take off and sell it. I don't know what's going on now. But yeah, that's the idea, is we're gonna fill it up and then it'll drive into town, drop it off at the cement factory, make its way back, and if we have a ton in here, we could do a second load for a day, or we could just let it, pile back up for the next day and do our whatever jobs we're working on in the background while our worker takes care of delivering for us. Oh, we missed. All right, it is full, and we dropped all that on the ground. Yeah, so the idea once the sawmill's gone is we'll be able to go straight, but we will have to cut a sharper turn here for the meantime. And boy, you can feel the weight in here. 29,500 liters of stone. Not sure how much money this is going to bring in, but it's definitely a business venture we're going with. Boy, you lose your momentum when you run into a car. We were going 40. We just ran into that car, and boy, it takes a little bit to get up. So we're almost there. We'll see. I have no idea how profitable this is going to be. It's definitely a muscle memory thing that we're learning right now. While we save up money to buy the cement factory, as we've mentioned. I just love it. Like the whole idea of this series is to have, each production being ran on its own. As we get more productions, we'll see that, come to fruition a little bit more. Right now with the lumber, we're gonna have to really do all of that. We could turn it to selling eventually, and we might do that, but we'll buy some equipment that mimics that we're actually have employees helping us with that, and taking the 20%, I think is what it is, hit when you do sell automatically. And we're not going to be selling at best price when we do it that way. I think kind of helps out with the eventual issue what we're going to have with bringing in too much money. All right, this one I was trying to find on my own because I have been here a few times. I don't know if I even know what this building looks like. It's got to be one of these buildings back here. Let's head this way. We better look. We better look at GPS. Apparently we went right by it. And it looks like this is the location. Let's go ahead and stop. And we'll see what kind of money this brings in. Not the most exciting dollar amount there. $4,500 for a truckload. And we'll drive back and we will, we'll talk about what's coming next. We might be able to get another load out of here, but I don't think we would completely fill it up, so we'll leave it as it is for now. But grinding away to make some more money to be able to get that cement factory is next. And boy, this is just turning out great. Come back to our property, where the house is, and this stuff's somewhat hidden. The sawmill you can barely see. This production you can see a little bit more, and that's because we need that access road there. Otherwise we could have some more trees added to kind of hide it from being ugly at the house. But boy, it looks nice. Just with the type of trees we have, these buildings look great. I feel like the location of this ended up being pretty good, as well as the location of the sawmill. It's turning out awesome. The next thing we're going to do is, we're going to push back this road a little bit more, and probably need to locate where I want to put the workshop, which will probably be the first thing we build and we construct. And I'm kind of thinking this direction, kind of by that barn here. Maybe back here we'll have like a full-blown workshop area with a couple sheds, a garage, to be able to repair our equipment when we get it. We're starting to get a good amount of equipment we're going to have to do maintenance on. And it would be nice to be able to have an area dedicated for that. And then I'm thinking straight ahead is where all the fields will start. And, we talked about all plots of land aren't always for sale. This one back here, we've been eyeing it. We need to get a hold of the owner, but they're not doing anything with it. It is just a meadow back here. And I think it's something that potentially we might be able to get them to come up with a number that they're thinking about for this to turn into our land as well. Because, all those trees that we see out here, those are ours. The farther we get over here, let's double check. I think those are all ours. Yeah, everything we see tree-wise is ours. So this is just kind of like an island inside our property. And it would just make sense for us to own it as well, but 350,000, I believe, is the market price, and that could go up based on, what changes around town when it comes to the value of land. But that's another thing we want to keep in mind, is it would just make sense for this to be ours. So, but I don't want to do that until we have our own fields established that we've created by cutting down trees. That'll be an expansion that we do. Gosh, this looks good. All right, enough rambling. I mean, this is coming together pretty nice so far. Couple JCB pieces of equipment today, our Kenworth truck here, and our stone production. Again, not going to bring in a lot of money so we get the concrete factory, but it's definitely one of the steps we needed to get done. Socks way up. I'll catch you on the next episode.